Thanks is really the antidote. It's the remedy to counteract the effects of poison and disease in our hearts, even in our bodies. This unthankfulness is poison. Unthankfulness leads to pride. Unthankfulness leads to doubt. Unthankfulness leads to selfishness. It really leads to unhappiness. And happiness is the overflow of focusing on what God has already done for you. Happiness is the overflow of focusing on what God has already done for you. Pause and think about that for a moment. Happiness is the overflow of believing and realizing what God has already done for you. What God has already done for you makes you grateful. When you focus on what's already done for you, you become grateful. When you focus on what Jesus did for us on the cross, it makes you thankful. When you focus on how many times God's delivered you, rescued you, protected you, helped you recover from an accident or a sickness or a tragedy, helped you recover from the loss of a loved one. If we would just focus on what Jesus has already done for us, not just on the cross, but the things he's done in our own personal lives, we would become thankful people, and thankful people become happy people. You know, in Luke chapter 17, 10 lepers were cleansed, but only one turned back to give thanks and to glorify God. But notice the difference between that one. In Luke chapter 17, it says, one of them, when he saw that he was healed, he turned back, praising God with a loud voice. All of them were healed, but it says one saw that he was healed. When that one leper saw that he was healed, he turned back and he fell at Jesus' feet and gave thanks. They were all healed. 10 lepers were cleansed. All of them were cleansed equally. But what was the difference? It was what they were focusing on. The other 9 were focusing on going to the priest and showing themselves to the priest. But because Jesus did say, go show yourselves to the priest, but he didn't say what time of the day they had to go show themselves to the priest. This guy realized what God had done for him, what Jesus had done for him. He saw it, he looked at it, he focused on it, and he gave thanks. He fell to his knees and he gave thanks, not as a religious ceremony, but as an overflow of seeing what God had done. Boy, if you could just shift your perspective from what you don't have to what you do have, from what you haven't done to what God has done, to what hasn't shown up in your life to what has shown up in your life. I'm not saying that there's not more that you can experience. I'm not saying there's not more you can have, but it starts with gratitude for what you already have. Every miracle of what you need starts with gratitude for what you already have. Every miracle that you'll ever need starts with gratitude for what you already have. You see, if you live your life from a complete deficiency of, oh God, I don't have anything, help me, then you're not realizing all the good that you already have in your life. There's so many things every human being on the face of this earth can be thankful for. I know some are more fortunate than others. Some are more privileged than others. There's no doubt about it. It's very unequal in this world. It's very unequal in our cultures. It's very unequal in our society. But with God, it's completely equal. And we can start with just thanking him that we have a voice to sing, a voice to praise, thanking him that we have the hands to raise, thanking him that we have feet to dance, thanking him that we have a heart to remember, thanking him for the air to breathe, thanking him for the water to drink, thanking him for the space that he's given us on this earth, thanking him for the sun and the rain and all the things that keep us balanced and healthy and happy in our lives. If we just get focused on the good of what God's done, we're going to experience so much freedom. If we would just let go of unthankfulness, if we would let go of unbelief, leave unforgiveness behind, leave unbelief behind, leave unthankfulness behind, and just, if you had to start today rebuilding a life of your dreams, may it start with how grateful you are that you can even begin to have a dream, how grateful you are that you can even have a goal, that you could even have a vision. David said, bless the Lord, O my soul, forget none of his benefits. He pardons all my iniquities. He heals all my diseases. He redeems my life from destruction. He crowns me with loving kindness and compassion. Wow, you see, David focused on what God had already done for him. David focused on what he already saw, what God had already done.